Hello and thank you for joining us. The situation remains tense in the Egyptian port of El-Arish after violent clashes between Egyptian riot police and members of the Gaza aid convoy. Fighting broke out after the Egyptian authorities refused to back down over their demands. They had earlier said that 59 of the convoy's vehicles would not be allowed through the Rafah crossing. Press TV's Hassan Ghani reports.
These people have travelled thousands of miles on a mission to deliver medical aid to the people of the Gaza Strip. But ironically, some of the very equipment they brought for that cause has been put into service to help them. This was supposed to have been the day the convoy finally entered Gaza, after a week of delays, problems and tough negotiations. But those negotiations broke down at the final stage, as Viva Palestina assembled at the El-Arish seaport in Egypt, ready to make the final of the journey. The Egyptian authorities had been insisting that a selection of 59 of the convoy's vehicles would not be crossing into Gaza with the convoy.
The Turkish leader said that this was completely unacceptable, that if he could not take all of his vehicles, he would not be taking any. The Egyptian negotiator then withdrew from the room to make a telephone call 4.5 hours ago, and he has not come back.
As patience wore thin, tensions soared, and members of the Viva Palestina convoy began a protest that started to spill out of the gates of the El-Arish seaport. It was met by hundreds of Egyptian riot police, who'd clearly been waiting nearby, armed with batons and shields. They blockaded in the volunteers and their vehicles. As the two sides stood facing each other, a minor scuffle to the side of the protest involving the police sparked off serious violence. Bricks and stones began to rain down on the people and the vehicles of the humanitarian aid convoy. The volunteers responded by returning fire with their own stones. That was met by tear gas and water cannons. In the ensuing melee, the convoy's vehicles were damaged, the port's buildings had their windows smashed, and dozens of Viva Palestina volunteers fell to the ground, some with serious injuries, after being hit by bricks. Despite this, many remained defiant.
You know, we're ready to stand here. I'm ready to bleed all my blood, you know, because they're selling the blood of the Gazan children for little, you know, and we're ready to stand here to take our aid, to do whatever. They can come with 1 million people. We're ready to stand here and do whatever we have to do to get into Gaza.
6 members of the Viva convoy were taken into custody by police amid the clashes. Several policemen were also held by the volunteers, but they were later released. It isn't clear where these events will ultimately lead, but now that the situation has calmed down and the two sides have had a chance to talk again, it really seems that things can only get better. Gaza is only 40 kilometers from here, and that alone is a major incentive for the members of this humanitarian mission to get moving. Hassan Ghani, Press TV, El-Arish, Egypt.